So welcome back to the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority Employment Committee meeting. We are now back in open session. So I would like to, and a reminder that we are not mentioning the names, but I would like to nominate the preferred candidate for appointment as the Executive Director of Economy and Growth, and the preferred candidate for recommendation as the Executive Director of Resource and Performance, the S73 officer. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nessinger. Now, my understanding is that we have a general consensus in support of the nominations, so I propose to take them forward to that vote. If anyone disagrees, then please raise your hand now. Okay, so I see no objections. We will take the nominations as carried. Do I need to have a formal vote, or do we take that by consensus? Okay, so those are carried by consensus. This concludes the meeting of the Employment Committee, but may I remind members that this meeting will now be immediately followed by a meeting of the Combined Authority Board. So this is a meeting of the Combined Authority Board. Do we need to? No, we stay in open session. Okay. Yeah. And I would like to welcome, and I'm afraid we do the preambles again, so do bear with me. I'd like to welcome those members of the public and press who are joining us today for this, I believe, very short Combined Authority Board meeting. There are no fire drills scheduled for today, so if the alarm sounds, I will adjourn the meeting. We will leave the building by the nearest exit and assemble in the High Street. We are being live streamed. Please also check that your mobile phones are still on silent. Item 1.1 is announcements, apologies for absence and declaration of interest. Would the Democratic Services Officer please report any apologies?
Thank you. Apologies have been received from Mayor Dr. Nick Johnson, from Councillor Bailey, from Councillor Bowden, from Councillor Conboy, who is substituted by Councillor Tom Sanderson, Councillor Fitzgerald, who is substituted by Councillor Oliver Sainsbury, Alex Plant, Councillor Murphy, who is substituted by Councillor Mohammed Jamil, Darryl Preston, and John O'Brien.
So does any member wish to declare disclosable pecuniary or non-statutory disclosable interest in today's business? Okay, I will take that as no. Member, you can declare that at any time. Item 1.2 is public questions. We have received no public questions this time, so we will move on. Part 2 is combined authority decisions. This is item 2.1, appointment of Executive Director for Economy and Growth and Executive Director of Resources and Performance. And the report recommendations are in front of you. The report contains an appendix containing the names of the preferred candidates, which is exempt from publication under Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 as amended, and that it would not be in the public interest for this information to be disclosed. Information relating to an individual, information which is likely to reveal the identity of an individual and the financial or business affairs of a particular person, including the authority holding that information. Does anyone wish to discuss the exempt appendix? Okay. In that case, we will stay in public session. Most of the members present have just spent the day sitting as members of the Employment Committee, so I would remind everyone again that the details discussed during the Employment Committee meeting, and most particularly the names of the candidates we have met, is exempt from public disclosure. We must not refer to that information now in public session. And those board members who didn't take part in the Employment Committee have been briefed verbally by officers on the day's proceedings and the committee's recommended candidates. Is that correct, Councillor Jamil? So Mark Parkinson, the Interim Director of Corporate Services, will introduce the report. Mark, you've moved. You're there.
Thank you, Chair. I will be very brief because I think it's been a long day. Members, attached is a paper looking specifically at the recruitment of two exec director roles. That's the Executive Director of Resources and Performance, which is also the Section 73 role. And the second role is Executive Director of Economy and Growth. There's been quite a detailed process that has been gone through to get to this point. This has included initial discussions and interviews with Penna. It's been individual discussions with our interim chief executive. We've held stakeholder groups with representatives from across the region. And finally, the interviews took place today by the employment committee with the recommendations before you today. So what we have is 4 recommendations. The recommendations here are to note the contents of the report, to receive and agree the recommendations made by members of the Employment Committee at the meeting today, that the preferred candidate be appointed to the position of Executive Director, Resources and Performance, Section 73. Third element is to receive and note the appointment of the Executive Director, Economy and Growth by the Employment Committee. And finally, to delegate to the interim chief exec the function of agreeing with the successful candidates the terms and conditions of appointment. Got nothing more to say at this point. Happy to receive any questions.
Okay, we will move to the vote on the report recommendations, which I proposed earlier in the meeting, and which Mark has just spoken us through. So can I see votes in favour on the report recommendations, please? Oh, sorry, I need a seconder. Councillor Nessinger, can I see votes in favour, please? Votes, no. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
He does have a.
vote.
Ah, right. So we are unanimous in terms of voting members. Okay, so that is carried. Thank you. So thank you all for your time today. It's been a very long day for many of us. It's been a very important one. I'm grateful to all the members present for giving their time, particularly for those who have come specially for this meeting. I also just want to put on record, I'm sure, the thanks of the Employment Committee for everyone who attended today and supported that process, not least to the candidates. So I declare this meeting closed. Thank you.